We've got an important conversation to get into in just a moment. First, though, the Ghana Revenue Authority would like to remind all income-earning individuals, including self-employed persons and partnerships, companies, entities, and all taxpayers that by virtue of the Income Tax Act 2015, Act 896, and the Revenue Administration Act 2016, Act 915, they are required to file a return of income with the Commissioner General no later than 4 months after the end of each year of assessment. For example, individuals, companies, entities, and all taxpayers whose accounting year ends on the 31st of December 2020 are to submit their annual returns of income for the 2020 year of assessment and other outstanding returns by the 30th of April 2021. They further encourage all taxpayers to file their returns electronically via the Ghana.gov platform. The Ghana.gov platform can be accessed online and via the GRA website, which is gra.gov.gh. The general public is reminded that the penalty for failure to file a tax return by the due date is 500 Ghana cedis and a further penalty of 10 Ghana cedis for each. The hashtag is Our Taxes, Our Future.
So Johannesburg is the other city that does not sleep. The heartbeat of South Africa is the richest square mile in Africa, is the bustling of the taxis taking you to Soweto for a chisa nyama. This city was made to wake up, shop, dance, then do it all over again. You can revel in the high life in Johannesburg for 5 nights from as little as 8,200 Ghana cedis, including flights, transfers, and meals. But hey, terms and conditions apply. So make Johannesburg your personal playground and feel the energy of the dream chasers. Visit www.southafrica.net. South Africa, come journey with us.
So we always knew that there was something lying dormant within the NDC. But the strongest hint of what it is started to show its head following an event over the weekend. On Saturday, a group met in Tema. The timing of that meeting, the content of their discussion, and the subsequent interview granted by one of the attendees to our very own Evans Mensah started to paint a picture of something significant occurring within Dr. Kumbo when Evans Mensah interviewed him on PM Express.
Well, that is why I have made that statement, that the perception of corruption in political office cuts across all the political parties. People blame the media sometimes, blame individuals of accusing politicians of being corrupt. And I said, no, you are getting it wrong. Politicians are the one in a competition to accuse each other of who is corrupt. They have even perfected that act to the point that corruption doesn't seem to be the problem. The problem is who is more corrupt than the other. NDC has had its own fair accusation of corruption, and I believe it contributed tremendously to our bad performance in 2016.
Is that perception or reality, this accusation?
Yes. What I'm saying is that whether it is real or not, it is the perception.
But first of all, are you surprised that those details have not been forthcoming?
I don't know whether people have them. They have put them out, and I have not come across them. But as a member of the Council of State,
Elders.
Yes,
Council of Elders.
Elders. I can say for sure that I have of our election petition. I have not seen it.
Should it have gone to court? Sorry, go on.
Some people tell me that those figures exist. I've heard some office holders in the party say, and I say, a social democratic party. You have this information you are sitting with. What prevents you from putting it out there? What prevents you from making it available to the grassroots so that some of us stop being harassed?
Should it have gone, most importantly, should it have gone to court? Should it have produced that in court as part of the case?
As for litigation, you go to court for a number of reasons. You go to court to win the case and get a reversal of what you think is an offensive conduct. You also go to court as a conversation with the public on what you perceive to be a wrong conduct. You go to court as a struggle levels at which you can go to court. The strategy for which we go to court is bound to be varied.
Who are these handful of wealthy people in your party?
Well, I would not know them. But what I do know is that you do enter a number of places.
But some say
So
they ran the 2016, 2020 elections.
Yes, but that means that they have already identified some people who might be that small group that is being referred to in the concept.
You don't know them?
Who have the money? I don't think I do. Because where I stand in my ideological position, monetizing politics in an emerging economy is a dangerous step. Monetizing politics in a country or an economy where majority of the people are still down there and struggling is a dangerous step.
But your party needs the resources of these wealth.
In political work, unscientifically, you end up drawing those conclusions. And I want to give you one vivid example. NDC performed so badly in the 2016 elections. When it was more resourced, it did better in the 2020 election when it didn't have those resources. What interpretation do you place on that?
What interpretation do you
The
place?
interpretation is that money doesn't go everywhere. The second scenario is that
Later classic
precisely.
example.
So the question you ask is that why is it that with all this evidence that we have, people still put a premium on money? I know money is important for political work, but that money is supposed to be used for human agents to deliver the votes. If there is a route, as is what I would consider as minimal, or the optimal level at which you need to do administrative things and to provide basic logistics. But if you make that the precondition for election victory, the evidence shows clearly that there is no direct correlation between the amount of money you put in an election and the outcome of that election. We have all been in this NDC town. We've known each other. We know our financial potentials over the years. Perhaps some of us were even in a financially better position than we entered public office. Explain to me when today people are talking of men of substance and those who contribute to the party. And the question you ask is that, how industrious have these people been over a period of 4 or 5 years to be able to generate this amount of wealth to make a contribution to the party? How lazy are the rest of us that we too have not been able to generate those type of resources to contribute to the party? When you start making this type of analysis and you tie that in with allegations of corruption, you begin to have the feeling that, look, let's take an inner look at this and do a critical self-examination of how we conduct ourselves. Whether we like it or not, go and conduct opinion polls in this country. I talk to a number of people, and all they tell you that, Ben, you just don't get it. Your people were as corrupt as the people they are accusing of corruption today. And this perception is fueled by a number of considerations. When you start having your party grassroots, who used to volunteer and go and put up party posters and distribute what you call party paraphernalia without asking for a dime. And now you cannot get a single person do 100 meters of posters without asking for a reward. That tells you something is happening. What I call the empire is hitting back. Once that perception gets to the local level at your grassroots, that all you are doing in public office is corruption.
Our strength in unity, from billion to billion, the NDC shall lead. Stable Democrat, Ghana, our strength in unity.
Right. So that's just a little bit of what Dr. Kumbo said in that interview. That interview has turned to be seminal because it sparked that all-important question. What are these tremors in the party and what are they seeking to achieve? All those who attended that TEMA meeting are quite easily identified as, if you like, allies of the former President Rawlings. So what's the move here? What are they seeking to achieve? Rawlings, of course, had always been an influential member of that party. So is it a void that this group is seeking to fill? Are they seeking to fill it with a person or as a group? What is the purpose of the filling of that void? Is this some ploy to regain control of the party? But in case you forgot, this is the reason why Rawlings was always influential in the NDC.
When some cadres came to see me about the division that was going to take place in Volta region, some of us, some chiefs and people, the politicians, we were obviously expecting me to also say something about it. Instead, I took the trouble to look at them in the faces and ask them, considering the neglect, even in basic roads, that they suffered for almost 8 years, didn't you think a politician would take advantage of this situation? I know how we are, and I did nothing to undermine it. I survived for 10 years, went to elections twice, and I survived 8 years because I know our potential strength, and I did nothing, and I never wanted to undermine it in any way. If I had, 10 years, revolution would have been the end, if not earlier, or the very first term. Whatever happened? How do we squander it this way? Listen, NPP, I keep telling you who they are, their background, etc. Munchwe, they can easily, whether you pump money into them, you try to corrupt them, you don't try to corrupt them. There's a certain consistency by virtue of who and what they are. And that figure, in terms of elections, could invariably always be the same. You and I don't have the consistencies of the MPP. We have a different type of consistency. When we had the PDCs, WDCs, etc., it was possible for you as a people, grassroots and the workplaces to own the power of accountability, the power of demanding the truth, the power of ensuring the right thing was done. But the revolution did away with it. Sorry, the Constitution. That does not mean that there's no other way. You're human. You've got to be assertive about what is right. You see, accountability. If we don't do serious accountability, how can we correct the mistakes that we made, which caused the failure of this party? Did we put in all expecting them to vote for you to become an MP or whatever? And you think that person will vote for your party when the time comes?
I was anti-unity from Billion to Billion.
Yeah, always a powerful, charismatic figure around whom people rallied in the NDC. And now, of course, his departure, his death, leaving a void. But not a void that is to be left unfilled, apparently. Not if certain groups have their way. So look, let's discuss this. And I want to bring Raymond in first. Why must we care? Why must we care that the NDC is going through a little bit of a shake-up? Some people are seeking to regain a little bit of their authority, in the party. Why must we care? Either way, what impact will it have on the party in the long run?
First and foremost, beyond the party, you need a stable opposition to keep government on its toes. That's how we run our democracy. Secondly, the Constitution mandates political parties to be run in a democratic manner. So we care. That's why we have chosen political parties to be the vehicle largely. And if you check the Fourth Republic, really, that's been how we have gotten people into opposition, into government. So the NDC is government in waiting. There was a time that, I mean, in the UK, for example, they see you as shadow minister. So, like the NDC's front in Parliament would have been the shadow cabinet in this particular case. So they
Had
matter
shadow
because
vice presidents in
yeah,
the past.
well, that's interesting. They matter because what happens to the NDC affects generally our politics. To have a government in waiting made up of crooks, and that's very dangerous for this particular country because the effect will be how they will run the country and how we are going to suffer from it. Secondly, if the NDC is not democratic, it will affect how they run and eventual people will come out of it. Three, the current leadership of the leadership of the NDC going forward will also determine if it wins, let's say, 2024, the kind of leadership we will have in this country. So let's say it chooses somebody who does not believe in general democracy, who does not believe in freedoms of the people, who actually believes that we should go back to some form of a system that is purely not democratic. We'll have difficulties there. Structurally, our politics have made it difficult for any political party aside the NPP and the NDC to win elections, at least in the Fourth Republic. And it looks foreseeably the case for a very long time because of how they have garnered and grown their support. Because why? The NDC got more than 6 million votes in the last election. Consistently, they've been hovering in the 40s and 50s when it comes to election in the country. So it tells you that it's a very significant political party that we cannot lose sight of. Why is the internal, and ordinarily, all political parties have internal struggles. Even for the third parties that rarely people don't give so much respect to, they have internal struggles. Internal struggles because political parties are basically units of people deciding who gets to lead the country at a point in time. They want the best, sometimes they want other factors to influence who becomes the best. Currently, the NDC has always had difficulties right from its PNDC days because they shifted from what was supposed to be revolutionary socialism to, after 92, becoming social democrats. Right from there, that's around 83, a chunk of the original revolutionary socialism people left because they felt they were heading the wrong way, IMF and other impacts coming in. That was another fight. So Rawlings on one side, then let's say Mensa Poku on the other side, people like Chicho Poku also supporting who they want to support. Then you see the fresh groups coming up later on. So Akatapori, Kwesi Edu and co, all because Rawlings and Kwesi Bocho and co abandoned what was supposed to be the original socialism path, left. That was a struggle for power, struggle for Rawlings' attention, and who leads the NDC, which is currently now then the PNDC.
Right.
Now they moved into a period where it was basically now the Kwesi Bochos and the other group in the Obaya Samuels who were the ones leading government policy in the direction that the earlier people felt was wrong. At all times, there's been a connection because of the history of the NDC, revolutionary source of massing up people. Rawlings said in that point, very important, he said PDCs, they were the people who were defending, so they have workers' defense committees, and these workers at the lowest level to check management. That is where the NDC feels that it holds its people accountable, that the grassroots matter. It has always been a mass party. Now, there's been concern after 1996 whether or not the NDC was also always on the right path, because some people believe that it has established. That's what brought about later national reform conversation, because Gusitano Keda with the people right from. In fact, Gusitano was teaching at the University of Ghana at the point. He left the University of Ghana's teaching position to go and become Rawlings's what they call special assistant, to come and do that job and stay in the party and be given what they call roles within the party, even before we came into 1992. So it was Rawlings himself making a major change in there, which shifted the people within the NDC and changed the fortunes of people like Obeda Samuel and Co, making them basically take a back seat. And for a very long time, they are taking a back seat.
Yeah.
Now, going into the 2000s charge, or whether or not he had control or not control, because to some extent, the feeling of Rawlings was that Mills had surrounded himself people who made it difficult for him to access him. Still, Rawlings and adherents versus Mills as leader of the country and the people around him.
Yeah.
Later on, the polls changed when former President Mills died. Now, former President John Dramani Mahama comes in. There's the belief also in the circles of Rawlings and his friends today that the people who are around John Dramani Mahama are not the hardcore cadres who believe in the probity, accountability for the masses kind of thinking. And that when you do that, you are taking away the soul of the party into a different realm. Not and the consistency not different from how the MPP looks. So they felt that the NDC and President John Dramani Mahama looked more capitalist in its engagements.
Right.
And I was shocked that Benjamin Kumbo mentioned corruption being a problem within the NDC, so they couldn't accuse the MPP of being corrupt in any way.
Yeah.
That's how some of them felt. Because from where they come from, the engagement with the masses meant you could not be amassing wealth, you could not be living in certain kind of lives. And okay, you'll be told some time ago that they had to wear a certain kind of slippers to attend major events even in the world.
Yeah.
That's how they conscientize them. Now, the difficulty is that after Rawlings, many would have thought this has ended. That period is gone. Gone with cadres, gone with all the other people that were adherents of the Rawlings thinking. Unfortunately, because of how the Nana Konadu issue played out, national reform got dissolved along the line. I've gone to try to interview him. What he said was that, and this was when the NDC was out of power. He didn't understand how, and this is he speaking. He said he was shocked at how the man came in a very humble way to listen to him consistently, but never implemented many of the things he told him. And that's what his worry was. Now, if you just oppose this against what's currently being said by the people around Rawlings who are into this, and let's not forget, if you see the statement that they were issued by those who went to Tema, virtually everybody is linked to him. The other people, the Kojo Gavois, the Chicho Opokus, they have real history within the PNDC, NDC as roots people. The thinking now is that they are losing ground. So, and I still think that they feel the best way to lead the NDC is somebody like Gusitano, connecting with the people on the low side, having the same ideology, socialist in the background, and not necessarily the way the NDC is going now. They believe there's a lot of money that's in the politics of the NDC, which is dangerous. People are not willingly donating, and that there's been incursions. Let's not forget that even Rawlings was accused of bringing in people which were incursions. People accused Mills of bringing in people which were incursions. People believe that John Dramani Mahama is doing the same thing.
Right.
How this leads is that they have to manage the relationship. The only problem of this group is that they may have brains like Dr. Kumbo. They, however, lack resources and mass appeal.
Right.
If you have someone like John Dramani Mahama, who's been president, he's garnered enough. So it looks like the Rawlings in the making in the NDC is John Dramani Mahama.
Fascinating.
Yeah, I mean, not necessarily in the making. I think he has become. I mean, before the demise of the former president, already the party was largely almost 90% John Dramani Mahama. And then when he died, I mean, it was obvious that the vacuum was created, right? Because take it or leave it, is a founder of the party. It is his beliefs, ideologies, values that form the basis of the party. And he so wielded some form of influence in the party. Although that influence has significantly waned over period. But then, because his aura was hovering still over the party, John Mahama couldn't really completely assert. And this is Rawlings in that clip we played, almost admiring the qualities of the MPP.
Yeah.
Right, asserting that. Does that remind you of anything at the forum that was held over the weekend? There was Abby Bright.
Abby Bright, yes.
Who was also talking about how she admired one quality of the MPP.
Indeed.
Now, that tells you that even for them themselves, they sort of...
Abu as well, by the way.
Absolutely.
He gave this elephant analogy, right? So there were certain echoes of Rawlings's admiration of his competition.
Yeah.
On Saturday.
I mean, and so my point is essentially is that with Rawlings now gone, the vacuum has been filled already by John Dramani Mahama, except that there's an opportunity for a struggle, for what's the word, for a setting like it has to be settled, right? He hasn't settled, although he's occupied the place. He still has the next 4 years. If he manages to get the second term, and again, think about it. Why does John Mahama why does he want a second term? He needs that power to be in government, so he in essence can ground his complete and absolute control of the party. I mean, Rawlings had that absolute control, right? To fill that vacuum completely, he needs he needs to be in power for a 4-year term. Now, this group believe we need to deny him that. Because if he gets that, it's finished.
Yeah.
I mean, so far as we are in opposition, so far as we can blame him for the party's current challenges, so far as we can blame him for the party's dwindling fortunes, so far as we get somebody else to be there and not be in power, we still have an opportunity to yank this meat from his jaws before he sort of devours everything,
Right.
which is really what the fight is about.
Let me identify the group. Okay, so it's made up of a number of groups in the party. The United Cadre Front, I prefer cadre to cadres, but you know what I mean.
You are not revolutionary.
No, I'm not. United CANA, which is the Cadres and NDC Activists group, and then another group called Organizing for Ghana. Now, they called this event the NDC Democratic Platform Initiative, and they describe it as a people's forum, securing the communique that this group issued. I think it's dated, I see no date on it, but this is a paragraph from that communique. And I quote, "The forum confirmed our analysis that our party suffers deeply from a vicious cycle of bureaucratization. This has disempowered ordinary members and collapsed the branches meant to ensure their substantive political development and capacity to hold leadership accountable. This breakdown appears to have developed around the critical political issue of party financing and the party's drift into patronage politics. The collapse of grassroots structures means that party leadership is unable to, in quote, hear the needs and aspirations of our members and the communities their branches are intended to serve. The silence of branches means that the only voice party leadership hears are those of, get this, largely foreign economic and social elites whose interests are not aligned with ordinary Ghanaians."
Hold on. 1 second. I just want to make the point. This same accusation is what took the likes of Akatapori out of the PNDC way back in '82. The same accusation, foreign interest. In that case, they mentioned IMF, World Bank. The same accusation anyway.
Right. So the paragraph ends with this. "It creates a confused and confusing political identity, values and ideology, hollowed out processes, weak strategic capacity, and unreliable policy priorities. It drives away crucial potential voters." So look, there is a clear accusation here.
Yeah.
They're saying that it's divorcing itself from the grassroots, like Raymond, elaborated.
Yeah.
But is this true? Craving for the good old days.
Kojo, what is the party's old face? And did the party's old face stick to the ideals of the party? That's the first question we need to be answering. Did the party's old face stick to the very ideals that the party started professing? So let's start from the PNDC era. By 1992, there had been a departure from the very thing that Mr. Rawlings preached when he came into office. And look, I can even add Dr. Yao Graham, one of those who stopped his PhD and came to serve in this country because they believed in the socialist tendencies. By end of 1992, those tendencies had been lost. Look, the NDC, by itself and its formation, accepted the fact that this was going to be a group of persons from different political traditions
A congress.
to form a congress to champion the development of this country. I think Munifie, who was a co-chairman at a point in time, he was of the UP tradition. Owusu Champon, who was majority leader in parliament at the time, was of the UP tradition. You had lots of UP tradition members within the NDC. Let it be known that when you are a political party, you cannot say that, look, I would only accept people from my tradition. There are others who are going to be joining along the line, also because it's a numbers game. I could look at Evans and say, I like Evans. He's my godfather. He's my mentor. Played in the NDC. The consistent reference to grassroots. The NDC began losing that. And in 2018, Dr. Tony Edu said something. And I'm going to say this and his voters. I asked him why, and he said they were implementing the policies that were expected of the NDC. Listen to this carefully. Consistently, the NPP has challenged the NDC. When you lose that, you're actually losing the soul of your party. And look,
But does that not support the argument that it was
throughout the PNDC era, when we went for diversification of our, state corporations and all of that, we're actually causing disaffection to a lot of people. Now, I am saying this, like, look, when Jerry, at the time, part of the campaign, and the MPP continued with this campaign. I was a student at the University of Cape Coast when J. Kufuor came there. And he said at the time that, if you vote for Professor Mills, Ghanaians are asking, is he going to be his own man? And so you cannot vote for somebody who's going to be controlled by Rawlings. And so vote for me. The MPP continued with that same campaign in 2008, except that by 2008, Ghanaians had become fed up and said, we're going to broke the 8 in the first round in the 2008 elections. Yes, they led in that particular election. They could not win, so you wouldn't say they've been able to, but they could not win. But even in that election, Mr. Rawlings was campaigning vigorously for the NDC. Look, it suits politicians to consistently say, we have lost our soul, we have lost our beliefs. But let me take you, Kojo, and galvanize all Ghanaians and say, we'll support. If the Ghanaians do not provide money for you to run elections, you will lose elections. So money is an important factor in every election.
Does it matter where it comes from?
Well, that is the morality question that we'll deal with pretty shortly. But my point is that Mr. Rawlings himself, while still in the NDC, had lost the values that the NDC so much talks about. And I want to end on this note. The major failure of the NDC that I see today is its ability to recruit younger persons into the party's fold. Obed Asamoah did it so well when he recruited a lot of young university students into the fold of the NDC. Today, if you were to go to some of the strongholds of the NDC, the young men are actually moving to the governing NPP because they see it as, where they should be.
All right. Well, there's more to talk about, including how the NPP will be responding to what's happening in the NDC today. But right now, let's do a bit of...
There's something that he says, and often, if you really want to analyze these matters, there's a vacuum that has to be filled, etc., in the NDC. And there's a divide now between the dying breed, who supported Rawlings, and of course the John Mahama. They want to reassert, and they have created a certain impression that this divide, and the reason why they need to come back in, is because under John Dramani Mahama, the party's fortunes are simply disintegrated. And it's the reason that departure from that base, that foundational values, is so what we decided to do was to look at the numbers.
And before you get started, if you don't mind, if you're listening to us right now on Joy 99.7 FM, Evans is about to go through some graphs. If you are able to join us on our social media platforms, you will see those graphs. But Evans will describe as much as possible what is in front of him so that those of us listening on radio can...
Now, let me tell you what, for me, before I even tell you, go into the specifics of the graphs, but what these graphs say. As far as the fight over the soul of the NDC is concerned, as is playing out now, the graphs will show you that there are two extremes, that when the NDC finds itself, they lose ground. And that when they find a middle ground where they combine the ideologies of Dramani Mahama, that is where they get the most votes. The fortunes increase the most. Let me illustrate it here. And the illustration of that, the middle ground was Mills. Was performed better in terms of the trajectory than the two extremes, in terms of the longevity of the numbers, including even the runoffs. If you look at the runoffs, all combined, Mills had a higher, steeper climb in terms of currently asserting, right? And if Rawlings starts 1992, when, of course, party democracy, we're just trying to experiment within the Fourth Republic. And so he had 58% of the votes, 58.7. But just look at the graph. You see the downward trajectory of the slope there. So that tells you a story. The next election, he's lost ground. He's dropped from 58. He's still in 57. But then the MPP was gaining. I'll start showing you what happened to the MPP, because that will tell you a story. Because as is that the decline of the NDC, didn't start under John Dramani Mahama.
Supporting Winston's
It
analysis.
didn't start under John Dramani. It started under Mr. Rawlings himself. You go to, so this is 1992 to 1996 where Rawlings was in play. You go to 2000, where Mills comes into the picture. In fact, let me jump Mills because I think he's in the middle. Because I just for the point I want to illustrate, I want to go to Mahama.
Yeah.
Now look at this. This is John Dramani Mahama. This is the graph of John Dramani. Just look at the dotted line because the dotted line tells you the general
2012.
in 2012, just on the back of Mills dying in July, right? And so a lot of people will say, you cannot credit him alone for this performance. It's just not fair because by the time that he took over in July, Mills had campaigned a lot that year, and he simply had what 5 months to campaign, and so you cannot. So 50, very high, right? And then significant drop historically. Nobody has dropped this much votes. We all saw that in 2016.
Yeah.
And then he climbed slightly in 2020, just as this last elections, right?
So in 2016, he dropped to
44.69% from 50. I mean, more than 6 percentage points. No, but almost the same in terms of the slope as what we see here. I mean, for Mr. Rawlings.
For Rawlings.
Okay, but this, in actual numerical terms, is a far steeper one than. But then, if you consider, if you add his 2020 back up, this is John Mahama we are talking about. Now, two extremes.
47.2%.
47.2%.
Yeah.
So two extremes, right? Now see what Mills does. When Mills comes in and says, "I'll consult," he didn't do away with Rawlings. In spite of what Rawlings did to him, but people forget, publicly, always criticizing him, he still kept to say, who are now, fighting each other for the control of the party. So how did he perform? The graph tells a story. Is this line upwards or is downwards for the two of them? Between Rawlings and Mills, you saw the graph, the line graph trending downwards. For Mills, when we did the plotting, as you can see there, for those who are watching us on Facebook, as you can see, Kojo, he has an upward trajectory in the line graph. Just the sheer numbers and the percentage, right? He starts off at what, 43%, 2000.
In 2000.
Okay, then he, of course, definitely had the absolute backing of Mr. Rawlings. And first round. Second round, he dropped slightly to 43.55%. 2004, he climbs to 44.99%. 2008, first round, climbs again, 47. Runoff, 2008, same elections, climbs even further to 50. Now, 50 is very interesting because it's the same place that he left John Mahama.
Yeah.
That is where Mills ended. John Mahama continues, 50.7.
And then drops.
50.8 to 50.7.
So it just tells you a story. Mills must be celebrated. I think he's so underrated. But if you look at the analysis, and the graph shows it, his ability to combine, and people said, and I was at Ahoy in his book, in an interview said, for example, that Mills wasn't a politician. Right? He couldn't wheel and deal. He was too honest. Because he could not, he wouldn't say, and the accusation against John Mahama now is that he's doing away with the Rawlings faction or group, and he's bringing his own challenge, his own people.
Yeah.
But Mills shows that the solution for the NDC is not the fight that we're having currently, that China war split between a John Mahama group or camp or faction and a Mills faction. What they need is a blend of both, right? But from the conversations we've had, and let's illustrate it this week. I interviewed Kumbo, which we played. Very extreme. Rawlings advocate. Very extreme Rawlings advocate. And then you have a John Mahama advocate who also then speaks to me the day after in Adekuka.
Yes.
Another extreme John Mahama advocate. And the words that were exchanged are, some of them, unprintable. I mean, Kumo was calling those people who were, fighting and struggling to John Mahama, sycophants, childish, etc. Then you get Adekoka coming and say he's behaving like a serial caller. Two extremes. They need to find a middle ground where these two values merge. The problem with John Mahama is what is his value? What are the values that he and the people around him hold as their cardinal values? That, for me, I still haven't sort of nailed it yet. I don't know if anybody has. I mean, if you look at the Rawlings people, public accountability, it's very, very obvious. You can just name them, run it over your tongue, right? But you talk about John Mahama, you're wondering, theirs is almost to say, yeah, we believe in that too, but we believe in any value that serves us in the moment. Some may accuse them of that. Yeah. But whatever their value is, it's a more liberal value. It's a more liberal value. And you need to find a way of getting the blend. The question is, can the Rawlings faction work with the John Mahama faction and vice versa? The way it's played out this week, it appears that middle ground.
And thanks so much for this, Evans. This is elucidating. But certain important points raised now. The difficulty in identifying what their message, what is it? What is that message? But I have a deeper question. And when we come back from these messages, that position went through their own dramatic internal upheaval. The Afoko Kwabna Japan drama forced the party to identify who as their flag bearer, and it became clear that the party was under the control of Nana Akufo-Addo. They won an election after that. Can we expect, is it reasonable to expect control, which could also lead to a victory in 2024? The best panelists you could possibly have in a political discussion will answer that question after these.
Joy 99.7 FM.
Emmanuel Cleaning Service.
Me and my husband are flying to Dubai.
Oh, great. Wait, is it because of the Camel Buy and Fly trip for two to Dubai?
Yes. Hey. The sheikhs have to notice us.
Get your passport and luggage ready for the third edition of the Camel Antiseptic Buy and Fly to Dubai promo. Get any variant of Camel Antiseptic Liquid, scratch its panel, and text code to 1393 on all networks. Win a trip for two to Dubai every week. You can also win instant prizes like airtime, hampers, and many more. Camel Buy and Fly 3. All COVID-19 safety protocols will be observed. T&Cs apply. Camel cleans, cares, and protects for healthy skin. This advertisement has been vetted and approved by the FDA.
Why do you allow coughs, cold, and flu to ruin your happiness? You need Summerlin cough syrup. Summerlin cough syrup will relieve you and your family from coughs, cold, and flu. Summerlin offers a whole range that provide relief for the entire family. Insist on your Summerlin in pharmacies and licensed chemical shops. Summerlin cough syrup from Danex Itin Starwin PLC. If symptoms persist after 48 hours, consult.
Charlie, I go do some POP, give somebody where the cornice is not fine, crap.
I always they tell you, see, for decorative roses and cornices, the solution be interface. Them have different imported cornices and roses in different designs and shapes. Installing them be so easy, and it go give your customer the finishing he wants.
Oh, Jam, take me go interface right now before I lose this customer.
Interface Limited is the leading supplier and installer of finishing input materials for the building and construction industry in Ghana. Call us on 0274 999999 or visit our website at
www.interfacelimited.net. Facebook Interface Limited GH. Instagram Interface.limited.
Samsung Ramadan Mubarak promotion. There is great news in town. I know you want prices down. Now, Samsung got you covered on a great discount for you and your family and friends. Okay, let them know.
UHD 4K television?
That is starting at 3,599 Ghana cedis.
QLED TV?
Starting at goes on the greatest discount. Yes!
Samsung Ramadan Mubarak!
It's a promotion. And there goes your happy family getting ready to enjoy good products from Samsung on great discount for your home. Any more questions? Samsung Ramadan Mubarak promotion. For this is the love Samsung shows on a Ramadan.
Hope you have heard rent to own now in Ghana. The Flan City Extension Project Rent to Own Land and House Ownership Scheme by the Ningo Pram District Assembly and its partners, supported by the Ministry of Local Government and Rural Development and the UN Habitat, are right here in Ghana. So be smart though, because where you trade and live really matters. Apply now and own a home or a fully serviced land. Wait a minute too. don't forget to join our affiliate housing cooperatives also. Special offers last until 31st March 2021. Call us on 055 55 3300 or 0577 911101 and 055 7054 635. Website newaccra.city. Plant City Extension Project, shaping Ghana's urban future.
Coffee in your cup and Joy on the set. The Super Morning Show is always the best bet on Joy 99.7 FM.
Yeah, Suzuza. Arise for Ghana, up and top of the land. For weather and seek your future. People love and our God. From vision to vision, the end is surely. Democrat, Ghana, our strength in unity. From vision to vision.
You're welcome back to the Super Morning Show. And very quickly, let's say a happy birthday to Mrs. Grace Oma Jimfua, also known as Ama Ferrari. Enjoy your day. Okay then, so let's get back to the Super Morning Show. And today our conversation, well, it's crucial. It affects all aspects of our political landscape, and we're trying to determine the future through analysis of the biggest opposition party, the NDC. Internal wranglings and the rearing of the head of, well, let's call it an old force seeking to be the new force. We're trying to figure out what it will mean and how the party will look in the future. But before we get back to that and wrap up our conversation with that one important question, let me tell you that the Ghana School of Law presents the Say Akoto, a family man, chief, and statesman. The event, which is organized every year as part of activities marking the SRC Week celebration of the Ghana School of Law, will be on Wednesday, the 28th of April 2021 at the Great Hall, KNUST. From 10 a.m., the keynote address will be given by Honorable Dr. Usefri Akoto, Minister for Food and Agriculture, and the special guest of honor will be Professor Aaron Michael Quay, former Speaker of Parliament. Other dignitaries include Mr. Maxwell Opukwa Ajiman, Acting Director of Legal Education and Ghana School of Law, and renowned economist Mr. Kwame Pienim. The event is under the auspices of His Lordship Justice Enini Yabua, the Honorable Chief Justice of the Republic of Ghana, and the management of the Ghana School of Law. A major highlight of the event will be the reenactment of the famous case Ri Akoto and 7 others. The program will be broadcast live on Joy News and Joy FM and all of its social media handles. Thank you very much. Let me add this one before Winston comes in. Do you want to gain more insight from industry experts to help keep your business alive and thriving? Well, join the ABSA Business Connect series every last Friday of the month on the ABSA Facebook page at ABSA Ghana. Emmanuel Mensah, Head of Capital and Balance Sheet Management of ABSA Bank, will be our guest this Friday, 30th of April 2021 at 10 a.m. on the topic Managing Cash and Liquidity in a Pandemic, the ABSA Business Connect series, helping to take your business to the next level. That's Africanacity. That's ABSA.
Well, so they come in different shapes and names. You've seen the rest, but now we bring you the best. Because Kingdom Books and Stationery, your trusted partners, just taking delivery of high-quality medical-grade infrared thermometer that's temperature gun for sale to the public. And the features include precise non-contact measurements, automatic data hold or auto power off, backlight LCD display and set alarm value, and many more. For bulk purchase, contact Kingdom Books and Stationery on 0501 401050 or 0244 31199 955. You can walk into any of our shops located across the country or visit our head office located at Osu Ako Eje Junction. Now, are you watching your favorite television program on a flat screen HD TV? Did you know you can get it in clearer and brighter high definition quality, which is 5 times better than standard definition? Well, get the new HD Plus decoder today from the nearest authorized dealer or any Electrolux showroom nationwide and enjoy the feely experience on your HD TV like never before. Visit www.hdplus.com.gh or call 0242 439872 for more details.
All right, speaking of more details, we're having a conversation about the fight for the future of the NDC, the fight to fill the Rawlings vacuum. And indeed, the death of Rawlings has created a vacuum. But who is going to emerge? That all-powerful, charismatic, leading and controlling force in that party. Will it be an individual? Will it be a grouping? Who will it be? The NPP went through turmoil of their own before the 2016 election. It culminated in a machete fight in their court, still suspended as we speak. Yeah. But what emerged from that was the unequivocal leadership of Nana Akufo-Addo. It became clear. There a possibility of the NDC's current headaches turning into a similar result? And what would it take for that to happen?
Well, Kojo, so you have, those who are speaking, members who are Council of Elders, for instance, you have Dr. Kumbo, and, Dana Budakwi, who is the chairman of the committee of the NDC. Now, John Mahama, if you look at, the current crop of executives of the NDC, seems to be in control of them. I mean, even before the election, for example, said electing Mahama as flag bearer was the real deal. And so it looks like he's in control. But he needs to be ruthless in certain instances. And I'll explain. What I see of John Mahama is a man who always may think that, Onyeshi, let's take it easy. But politics is not always Onyeshi. You see, sometimes this whole thing about you need strong institutions, sometimes you need strong men to actually put things in order. So if your party members say you don't have collated results, find out. If you do have the collated results, show it to your party members and say, these are the results.
But that's accountability, not ruthlessness.
Hold on, I'm coming. Once I'm done, you would understand. Once I grow up, if you also find out and you do not have the collated results, who were those put in place to ensure that you have those collated results? There's a director of elections, the director of IT, other directors. Show them that they have failed the party. And what a way to show them by saying, you know what, these guys have failed the party, and so they get out. If these guys have been peddling falsehood, for instance, if they knew you had collated results, and they went to town saying the party didn't have collated results, they're bringing the party's name into disrepute. And those persons should be sanctioned according to the party structures. Look, you don't always have to say Famanyame when it comes to political activities. Sometimes the leader must stamp at the body language of John Mahama on the 8th of December, 2020. It was not the best, and it didn't come out as a man who was in control. That is what, and see, let me be very honest with you. This whole rally, he was still in office. The NDC's fortunes began dwindling. Yeah. So for Mr. Rawlings, yes, his charisma was key, but like Ubera Sama said, J. Kufuor did not have charisma, but he won elections. He probably may say that between Atta Mills and J. Kufuor stood out, compared to Atta Mills. But the NDC would forever have a crisis in determining what their identity is, because there are persons who were brought into their fold. At the time, it suited them to bring people into the party's fold and use them to recruit more people from their tradition to enable them win elections.
Yeah, I mean, but this struggle to fill this vacuum actually surprises me, because this is a Congress.
Yes.
The Congress is just a collection of everybody else.
And that's the point.
So if you have a collection of everybody else, by the definition of just that, you can't have a proper identity, so to speak, because everybody else is going to be in there.
Exactly.
Right? People are going to come from all manner of walks with their own ideological inclinations to join you, because it's a Congress.
But that in itself is an identity, isn't it?
Well, it is in a sense, but I guess it's the definition of the values. I guess that's a better expression. The definition of the value, because they believe there must be a certain set. Welcome everybody in. You can't expect that you're all coming with the same values. You know what I mean? Unless when they come in, you orient them to what you believe your values are. But as the numbers show, because they're in the business of winning elections. The guy among the three who've led this country from the NDC's folk, who managed to bring all the values on the table, is the guy who has an upward trajectory in terms of the line graph that we showed. And so the fight is a fight that shouldn't happen, but it's happening because The man who found the party is gone. And those who belong to him don't like John Dramani Mahama. It's as simple as that. And they don't believe that he should win another election. He uses that 4 years to consolidate the occupation of that vacuum. I've said at the beginning that I think that vacuum, he's filled it.
You think he's already filled it?
He's already filled it. It's a question of consolidating that occupation. Because if he gets back into government, he has 4 years to do that. When he consolidates, it's finished. I mean, he'll be in a position to influence the choice of a successor, right? That's his power.
Yeah.
And if he influences the choice of a successor, he can then, through appointments, nurture people with his in his image, a long line of succession.
Question is, what's that image?
But that's a key question. So this current fight is about that. Prevent him at all costs from getting back in there as a president, right? Where he then has 4 years, all the resources, all the influence to consolidate this occupation of the vacuum, which he has. And I think in their minds, Benjamin Kumbo, right? There is the letter of the interview and there's the spirit of it. Because I sat with him. When I asked him John Mahama a question, there's a certain sympathy he has, an acknowledgement. Sam Mahama, he almost dodges the question about addressing John Mahama and addresses the people around him.
Right.
If you pay attention to the way he answers the question, rein the people in. You know, your sycophants, sort of, this is what Rawlings would have done. And he says, I won't begrudge him because he has his own style. He's making excuses for the man, but we all know the reality is we don't believe that he should be there. But he cannot address it directly because he knows that the horse has bolted, the ship has sailed, the man is in control. So it comes back to my point. They simply need to go back to John Mahama, I guess, and rather find a way to influence that process of defining who we are. And I've shown from the graph that the best way to do that is sit with him and find, okay, if it's so much about values, how do we infuse a bit of our values into him? So that if indeed he comes back, at least we have a bit of say. I mean, even if it's 40% of these values we believe in is him. Other than that, this is a fight they will lose. This vacuum fight, they will lose it. Not Guzitano. I don't see who else can win this fight in terms of filling that vacuum.
Do you see a parallel here between what some groups or some group sought to achieve in the NPP?
Yeah, NPP wasn't a fight over values. It was a fight over personalities.
Yes.
Right? I mean, so that is a bit more easier conundrum to handle. Because values are very vague. They are difficult to sort of, but it's a human being. You can feel in touch. It's a bit of intangible, right? And so that is why this, and Raymond says, Raymond can make the argument himself, that it's a fight between idealism and realism, where JM represents realism, and Kumbo and Co represent idealism. And when there's a fight between idealism and realism, I would say humbly,
put your money on.
They accuse him of all. It may be true, it may not be true, and whatever it is, he is still the reason why the NDC, even in its struggling state, manages to get 137 in Parliament. With all his ills, with all John Mahama's ills, he halved it to 500,000. Right. So
that's an improved performance.
And my point is, the only choice they have in this matter is to go and find a way to find a middle ground with John Mahama and rather have a conversation about how do we infuse a bit of our values in him. That could come in. If you get a nod again, how many of us do you appoint? And in politics, that negotiations happens. And again, MPP. That is what Nanado did with Alan Chamanting. He gets to a point I realizes, listen, if I say to myself that I'm going to drive this force by myself, and I could have done it because he had absolute control when they went to the primary.
Yeah.
Right? I could have done it. But I need the Ashanti votes because a huge population there. This is where our base really is. The minute he realized that, he abandoned his extreme. He abandoned that extreme. And what did he do? Sits with Alan Chamanting. Alan Chamanting puts his demands on the table. He says, listen, I want trade ministry. I give you that. I give you that. He appoints him. He knows I'm empowering the guy who wants me out.
Yeah.
But I get a bit of the benefits that he brings to the table.
Yeah.
And we can win together. That is the lesson that this group must learn. That, and by the way, if Akufo-Addo had gone ahead and said, I don't need him, I don't need my guy, he would have still won the elections, possibly.
Yeah. But he may have lost his grip over the
party.
Yeah.
Because, and for me, it's my fundamental point is that they should find a way, instead of this huge split that appears they cannot find a middle ground as exemplified in Kumbo and Adekoka. They should rather be sitting at the table with John Mahama and saying, we want to infuse a bit of this in you. The way we do that, if you win, we want you to appoint 30% of your people from that old stock.
Right.
You can still have your 70%, but we want this number of people in there. And that is the way then they begin to blend over time. And then by the time that John Mahama is out of the way, you have a bit of influence. Because without that power, you can't do anything. Alan Chamanting wants to be president. If he hasn't been trade minister, he cannot have the resources, the influence, the clout to mount any meaningful challenge to the throne.
Yeah.
But because he is there, he ate humble pie. I'll play second fiddle to the man. But I'll be my trade minister. Have you seen Alan Chamanting grant an interview? I will operate under the radar, almost unnoticed, build my war chest as a trade minister. If I have to say yes sir throughout, my eye is on the ball. What is it? I want to be president. And I think MBDC must learn that lesson.
Yeah, and of course there's a fascinating battle ahead in the MPP for leadership as well. But so Winston makes a point, and I like the way this is panning out. So Winston talks about what John Mahama should do to solidify or consolidate his control. Evans talks about what the cadres should do to ensure. Does he even have the legal authority to do that? To call these people to account and ask them, where are the figures? What happened here? Who did this? And kick out those who ought to be kicked out. Is he, by their constitution, in the position to do that?
So the flag bearer of the party is the leader of the party.
Is he the flag bearer?
He's not the flag bearer. So that's a tricky position. He's de facto leader. De facto means actually not necessarily in law.
In the absence
in
of...
the reality, he's the leader of the party. There's a national chairman supposed to be the leader of the party. The reality is also clear in this case that anybody that's funding this point, and why do you think they're asking for figures? Because they believe that John Mahama's hold on the party is being strengthened by the fact that some in the NDC believe that he didn't lose the election.
Right.
And that it was stolen from him. And that if we get to expose them on the real figures, or say that they don't even have the figures, they want to inform their position that was stolen from them. First one. Second one is also the call for accountability when it comes to the Supreme Court one. It's the same belief that the NDC, and including what John Mahama said himself, that they disagree with the verdict of the Supreme Court. So if we get them to admit that in all of this, they knew they had lost the election and yet proceeded to go through the process just to court more support, then we have actually taken some part of the people who are supporting them and the level they are standing on and make John Mahama and the leadership look bad. So this target is not the national leaders that they're asking for. So John Mahama will not actually take the bait and go and be demanding this level of accountability they're asking him to do, because they know that if that demand is prudent and with good heart, they'll ask it within the party, not in press conferences, not at forums. I hope you're getting my point.
Yeah.
Not through demonstration like some of them have done already. The actual claim is to make him look bad so that he will lose a certain core or small part of the constituency. Then they can build on it. Internal party struggles are rife. And on the ideology standing, it is pretty clear that even I shudder to think that any political party in the Republic of Ghana today, especially the main two, really understand their ideologies and they work at it. Let me tell you an example. When the NDC built its office fresh, they had a library there. So one of these days, I think I went for a program there and veered into the library to go and look for a book on social democracy. I couldn't get any. I couldn't get any. I complained on radio, and later on, I think the first lady then donated some books on social democracy to the library. It should tell you a story about how even leaders of the NDC, some of them, really do not have that at the core. It is the more reason why you recall that they set up a school, a social democracy school, with very competent people like Dr. Ole Mahaji at the helm of it, trying to reschool their rank and file. So it's not as if nothing is being done. Nothing is being done to reconnect their people. I do not believe that the people who are at the ranks of the Rawlings thinking, they are only there because they want a genuine redevelopment and a rethinking of the party. It's struggle for power. Pure and simple. They want not only recognition, they think that since now the party is in quite an unstable state, like what's happening in parliament, what's happening in the leadership of the party, what Kokwani and Co are saying somewhere else, they could jump into the system and take advantage of it, then redefine the history of the NDC and move it forward in a different direction. If not even to unseat John Mahama, to look beyond John Mahama and make sure that they can have enough influence going forward. The only difficulty which arises here is that, one, they are still faced with the main problem of how to organize properly and defeat that towering figure that Mahama presents on board. One of the things I know Mahama is likely to do is to first possibly combine the two. First, which ones can I take to myself? Which ones are in the middle line that I can pull away from this group? He'll pull them away. Then, which ones can I ignore? Because there are some that no matter what you do. Because, see, let's go back to it. They believe that Mahama became president by accident. They believe that, just like the way Gusitano believed Mills was not supposed to be the leader of the NDC, they believe that Mahama himself was not supposed to be the leader. So it's an aberration they are seeking to correct. And they will not stop at anything to correct that. So that's what I think he will do. He will separate the two, take what he can take, and ignore what he would ignore. And I'm convinced that, see, to be fair, they're not, and why? The cadres, before 20, at age 20 in 1980, two fresh people like Ibi Bright and Co to join the fight, or they will become obsolete and leave the NDC in a way that will be a bit of a change that will come into the political party.
Right. And let me just end on this, Raymond. You see, I would give two quotes from Machiavelli. One, he who thinks of how life...
Of all the people of all the godly people...
Yes, he who thinks of how life ought to be is on a path of destruction. And he who thinks of how life is on a path of preservation. And finally, if you want to injure a man, injure him such that he will not fear his vengeance.
He will not fear his waiting.
Vengeance.
So Machiavelli was European that if you are destroying your enemy, destroy completely.
Yeah. It's really the message here. All right. Oh, goodness. Okay. Wow. Okay. So look, we've got a lot to talk about in the coming days, and I want to hear your voice on this conversation we've been having. So many text messages coming through, so many of them. But we want to hear your voice in a short while, right after these messages.
89.7 FM.
The cousin that hogs all the food. The relative who's always late. The brother who's always on the phone.
Hello, let me call you right back.
The niece who's allergic to everything.
No, thank you. I'm allergic.
The work buddy that finishes the last of the Coca-Cola. We all know one, but meals wouldn't be the same without them. Savor moments together with Coca-Cola. This advert is FDA approved.
Hey Derek, this time I'm not gonna do yawa. I go call my family and friends. Electroland Ramadan Mubarak promotion. Charlie, Ramadan with Alaji dear. Duty free. Alaji sent me make I go buy 4 different gas stoves from Electroland on a great discount. For Electroland, you go get Nasco, you go get Samsung, you go get Media, you go get Toshiba, home electronics and appliances. Something for everybody. Great discount. Charlie, correct 4-burner gas cooker starting from 599 Ghana cedis plus free hair clipper. Top mount freezer starting from 999 Ghana cedis. Nasco air doctor, Samsung split AC, HD flat televisions, LED satellite flat. Charlie, booming audio systems, microwaves, side-by-side refrigerators, washing machines, and more. All on a great discount. This preparation there, allowed you do all. Duty free. Walk into Electroland Ramadan Mubarak promotion. Experience quality moments with family in a home that has everything.
What would you do if you have the choice to do anything in life? Build your dream house, take very good care of your family, and plan for a comfortable retirement. Plan a befitting funeral for your loved ones when they depart. How would you live if you knew there was a friend waiting to support you on all of your life's choices?
You have such a friend in Glyco Life Insurance. Glyco Life has all the plans to meet your life's needs. Your child's education, your life savings, your mortgage, funerals, redundancy, and your retirement, and takes the burden off your shoulders. So go ahead and live life to the fullest today with Glyco Life Insurance plans. And remember that all our policies are hedged against inflation. Talk to Glyco Life on 0302 218 500 or 246 142. Also visit our website at www.glycolife.com or any of our branches nationwide for more information.
Glycolife, we cushion you for life.
Glyco, we cushion you for life.
Multi-TV would like to notify the general public of some unscrupulous dealers offering unaccredited decoders as multi-TV digiboxes. The only accredited multi-TV digibox is Quality Advanced S2 decoder from Syndicated Capital, which is on sales at only 150 Ghana cedis for the full set of satellite dish, LMB, and decoder. Buy the accredited decoder to enjoy warranty, after-sales support, and future upgrades. Multi-TV will not be responsible for any problems arising from the purchase of unaccredited boxes. Dealers are also cautioned that Multi-TV will take action against installers or dealers who pass off unaccredited decoders as multi-TV digiboxes. Remember, the only approved digibox is the Quality Advanced S2 decoder from Syndicated Capital. Is on sales at 150 Ghana cedis. Call 030-2242-532 or 0.
The cousin that hogs all the food. The relative who's always late. The brother who's always on the phone.
Hello, let me call you right back.
The niece who's allergic to everything.
No, thank you. I'm allergic.
The work buddy that finishes the last of the Coca-Cola. We all know one, but meals wouldn't be the same without them. Savor moments together with Coca-Cola. This advert is FDA approved.
Syndicated Capital introduces the Silent Night range of luxury mattresses and pillows. And for the first time, the Silent Night pregnancy and nursing pillows, crafted to provide exceptional relief for your legs, belly, and back during pregnancy, as well as amazing back support feeding your baby. No more sleepless nights and no more hustle with breastfeeding. Check out the Super Pillow Top Orthopedic Mattress, made with 12 inches of memory foam cushioning, providing unparalleled comfort and guaranteed to last for 20 years. No mattress comes close in comfort and support. Also available are high-quality bed sheets, reversible quills, a large collection of orthopedic pillows and luxurious towels at unbelievable prices. Silent Night products are available at all Melcom shops, game stores, and Silent Night showrooms at Tema, Asylum Down, Adenta, Spintex Road, and Kumasi behind Menchia Palace, or call 0302 242532 or 050 131 5776. Silent Night. sleep like never before.
DSTV has millions of stories to inspire you for anything you do in your everyday life. What a lovely romantic day. Now for the best man to say a few words. Over to you, Nee.
I would like to say this to the couple. Girl, I go take you to Tokyo. Girl, I go take you to China. Girl, I go take you to London. I go tell them, say, you're the only one, Ghani. Girl, I go take you to Lagos. Girl, I go take you to Ghana. Girl, I go take you to Tema. I go tell them, say, you're the only one, Ghani.
Clearly, he's been watching Aquaba Magic on DSTV. You too can get inspired by great local entertainment like The Day, Inside Out, and Sankofa, and so much more. Get a DSTV decoder plus a month DSTV access today from only 229 Ghana cedis, and for an additional 70 Ghana cedis upgrade to compact to watch all the drama on Aquaba Magic. Because great stories start on DSTV. It's your moment.
Coffee in your cup and joy on the set. The Super Morning Show is always the best bet on Joy 99.7 FM.
It's the Super Morning Show on Joy 99.7 FM. Today, our analysis going deep into the issue of filling the Rawlings Vacuum in the NDC. Yeah, we're kind of exploring all the possible permutations, but there is something happening across Accra right now that we need to point out. Apparently, somewhere near Action Chapel, between Action Chapel Tema and TT Brothers, there is a roundabout. There's a lot of traffic. I suppose that would be the Olusegun Obasanjo highway. Lots and lots of traffic there, and lots of people complaining about it. Kaukudi traffic also terrible this morning. Someone has been stuck in it more than an hour. We feel your pain. Yeah, so Achimota and 37 seem to be the stretch that is getting the most traffic complaints. So please be aware and stay away from it if you can. A quick happy birthday to Agbeku Kwame Azuma, Director of External Relations and Communications, Newmont, Africa. Happy birthday to you. Now, there's a special one. I can't believe we missed this. Today happens to be the birthday of the Minister for Lands and Natural Resources, Abu Jinapo. Samuel Abu Jinapo. Happy birthday to you. God bless you. Okay, so keep your text messages coming through. We're going to open the lines and hear your voice in just a moment. Text messages on the Super Morning Show are brought to you by Glycocritical Illness Plan. GSIP, it's in your best interest to survive.
Well, there's good news for remedial students and students who were not able to score a minimum of 6 C's. You can now join our 6 months bridging course, which will help you improve on your mathematics, science, and English course. Upon a successful completion of the bridging course, you may then continue to study the undergraduate course of BSc in Computer Science, which is affiliated to the University of Greenwich, UK. Don't sit at home. Register now at IPMC and continue your education. Registration is now open for the June intake, so visit IPMC Technology Center at Circle, Shashi, and other locations in Tema, Kumasi, Takrady, North Legon, Dansuma, or Tessano. Contact us on 0555 552222. IPMC, providing better learning with technology.
All right. Now, if you don't do anything today, do these 5 things. 1, wash your hands frequently and carefully with soap and water. 2, rewash your hands several times a day, especially after touching anything, including your phone or laptop. 3, use hand sanitizer when you can't wash your hands properly. 4, wash fresh groceries. And 5, clean and disinfect surfaces like countertops, door handles, furniture, toys, laptops, and mobile phones with alcohol-based disinfectants. Thank you very much. Now, let's open the phone lines before I tell you about the text message I've got from Elvis Efriye Ankra, who, as you are aware, was pivotal in the campaign for the NDC in 2020. So please call us. The number's 0302 216 541. Now, I want you to understand something. This is an analysis show that we've just had. So you will find yourself agreeing with some of the things you've heard, and you'll have opposing views to some of them. We want to hear all your views, okay? And don't feel like because you disagree with us, we are enemies. We're all friends. So let's talk as such. Call us 0302 216 541. Now, Elvis Efriye Ankra sent me a message because, of course, we were talking about the demands for the collated results. Here's what he says. Good morning, Kojo. I find it absolutely preposterous for anyone to think the NDC did not collate its results. We had our collated results by the 8th of December 2020. It was on the basis of those results that we detected several anomalies and infractions and started the process of our pink sheet audit, which also confirmed several anomalies. Since the results were in contention, it would not have been tactical to publish the results whilst the issues were in contention. In any case, the results are available in every branch, constituency, regional office, and the national office. Any party member can have access to those results. With regards to the pink sheets, we have about 99% of our pink sheets and 100% of the results digitized. I have been wondering how those asking for the pink sheets want us to do it. Should we mount an exhibition at Circle or the party headquarters so people will come and inspect them? For the records, all our results are available at our various party offices. Then he adds, and kindly take note, 99% of pink sheet recovery is unprecedented in the history of the party. It doesn't mean the 1% pink sheets are missing or we do not have the results for those polling stations. We have all the results. What we have found out after writing to those specific polling stations through their constituencies is that in several cases, it's simply a matter of sorting. Some inadvertently have been found in the parliamentary results sheets. Remember, we are talking about almost 39,000 polling stations with several copies per polling station and having to move them from their various locations across the country to Accra. There we go. So that's from Elvis Efriye Ankra. Let's take some calls. Papa Bisu is at Ofanko. Papa Bisu, we're going to give you about 30 seconds to make your point, okay, so we can get as many calls as possible. But good morning to you.
Good morning. No problem at all. No problem. But my brother, God bless you for bringing this very topic, right? Nobody is saying that anyone in NDC, even you, the media, and all outsiders shouldn't talk about NDC. But you must do it at the right time. Seriously speaking, I, for one, I don't go by money. Those talking today against John Mama or whatever it is, when Mills was in power and I criticized him, they should have joined me because I was on the same line. They didn't join me. John Mahama is the best ticket for NDC Camp 2024. Nobody can challenge him. So they should take note of that. You understand me? They should take note of 2024 best. Look, 99% of NDC guys are behind John Mahama. Even this very country that we are, people have now regretted voting him out. God bless John Mahama. His Excellency John Mahama. God bless him, my brother.
Thank you, Papa Bisu, for calling us. Let's talk to Peter from Teshi. Peter, again, 30 seconds. Good morning. Hello, Peter. Right, it looks like we've lost Peter from Teshi, but you can call us to 0302 216 541. Let's hear what you have to say on our conversations this morning on filling the Rawlings Vacuum in the NDC. Do we have someone on the line right now? Oh, it's Peter. Hi, Peter. Good morning. Hello, Peter.
Yes, good morning.
Good morning, my brother.
Yes, you see, if you have a father in the house, your father wants to advise the children, do you go outside at the market square and be telling people I want to advise my children?
Don't advise my children in the market.
So I hope Evans is there.
We are all here.
Yes, I want to plead with Evans. He should play the interview that he interviewed Kokwedido when he was contesting General Mosquito. He told him that he's committing political suicide. He said he should wait and see. So please, I want to pray with Evans. He should play that one for us to see. But this man, he's trying to do the right thing, but he's not passing the right channel. If you are header of the party, you want to do something, just call your children. Even after Rawlings is still alive, he cannot control Mahama. He cannot take charge of the party again. How are they? Dana Burakwi, if you play his interview, he said they called him, they have invited him to Hope, but if Natokra he come to Tema, he has not been invited at all. He said he have heard it. They should continue whatever they want to do. As for Mahama, nobody can. Even at all, when this is come, Mahama will go. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. All right, let's go to Medina. Here's Anthony. Anthony, please, 30 seconds. Let's hear your thoughts.
Hello.
Hello, Anthony. Do we have Anthony on the line? Hello? Oh, dear. Looks like we lost Anthony there, but you know the number. You can call us 0302 216 541. Muslim is on the line from Ashalibuche. Hello, Muslim. Good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Thanks for calling. Wow, well, we seem to be having some difficulty in connecting our calls, but please keep trying. We're going to fix this. 0302 216 541. Interesting thoughts there so far. Lots of our callers, well, two of our callers suggesting that, it's John Mahama, really, no matter what. Bishop is in Asante Mampong. Let's hope this line is better. Bishop, good morning.
Good morning, could you how are you?
I'm very well, thank you for calling. So, 30 seconds.
I would have liked 5 minutes, 30 seconds. I'll try my best.
You can't have 5 minutes, Bishop. We have other callers. Sorry about that. So go ahead. Oh, no. Sorry about that. So sorry about that. We seem to have a genuine problem there, a technical problem with our lines. We must apologize to you for that. We definitely wanted to hear your views on this, but for some reason the system is not allowing us. We will give the opportunity for callers to share their views at an opportune time. Right now, though, we're going to wrap up with our 3 political analysts in the studio, and I'll start with you, Winston.
Well, could you, I'd say that diseases are there.
All right. Profound. Raymond.
Internal contests are normal. Political parties go through them to shape their future, to shape their history. If it is not detrimental to their collective interest, that is annexing political power, if this particular contest goes against that, it becomes completely useless. And I think a group want that really to happen. So the best way to go is to make sure that they're able to kill this and still maintain a chunk of the people on the other side, intellectuals and other people who can help push the NDC in the right direction going into the future.
And for me, I think eventually they will find a middle ground. I think they have no choice really in the matter. I think the middle ground is what they will find. I think John Mahama will realize that he can't do without them, and they too realize they can't do without him, because when the closer they get to the elections, the more their minds will be focused. And I think that will compel them to come to the table, which is really what will happen.
Well, look, this is fascinating stuff, and no doubt it's just it's going to spark further conversations. Thank you all for listening. We definitely want to know what you think about these things, so keep tweeting at us. We will share them. You will hear some of your tweets in subsequent bulletins, no doubt, so keep them coming through. But for now, Winston Churchill Amwa, Raymond Google Aqua, and Evans Statistically Impossible Mensa, thank you all so much for making the time to be on the Super Morning Show. Now, just before we say goodbye to you, did she tell you she had to eat wache at midnight? How about asking for a foot or back rub at 3 a.m.? I know the mood swings, the hormonal imbalances, the weight gain, the health challenges, and all that mothers deal with is by telling the stories of our birth as told us by our mothers or our guardians, and we are dubbing it How Mama Had Me. So just send us 5 photos in a slideshow of you and your mother, and in a half page, tell us the story of your birth as told to you by your mother or your guardian, highlighting how she found out she was pregnant with you, the crazy pregnancy cravings, the anxieties and emotions, the fears, the drama, the uncertainty. Up to 0551111 and use the hashtag HowMamaHadMe. Closing date is the 2nd of May 2021. How Mama Had Me, celebrating Mama's strength through J. Yankson. On behalf of the entire team, we say, God bless you. Stay with the station for the duration. Up next,